to Sherlock Holmes The Awakened. This is the second time I am playing through this. The first time I did it on the Young Detective difficulty, which is about the normal difficulty. This time I wanted to try it on Master, just see if it's a little bit difficult, if it's any different. It is just a demo, so those of us in the Discord were thinking it's probably not super different, but it's still worth a shot to see how it is. The first time I went through this game, I either didn't see a prompt or it didn't come up for me and it was bugged, so it took me a long time to get through and it was very frustrating at that one part. So I'm hoping this goes a lot smoother. I want to give some talk about how I feel about the game so far in this beta state, demo state, and then just see overall how it plays.
The Edelweiss staff will doubtless be eager to show off their facilities to a fellow physician. I have already taken the liberty of sending a letter on your behalf to request a visit. And what of you? I shall be pursuing other avenues. Should you see anything troublesome or improper, simply notify the local authorities. Otherwise, try a little analysis yourself. You know my methods. Apply them.
So, a little bit of background for this. I think I recorded the intro screens. The conflict in Ukraine sort of broke out in February of 2022, and Frogwares is a company based out of Ukraine. Their last game was Chapter One of Sherlock Holmes, which was an open world sort of prequel to the detective as we know him. It was sort of a soft relaunch of their series, which has gone on for loads of years, and I think, I don't want to guess on how many games, but it's at least 6 games. So with Chapter 1, I think we as fans were expecting the next game to be an open world London game. Chapter 1 took place on a fictional island, Cordona, and it was open world, although a little bit limited, but given as it was their first open world title, it was fine. And open world London would have been probably the next step, or a partially open London. And then, obviously, the conflict in Ukraine began, and the studio was sort of limited in what they could do. This game was funded on Kickstarter by fans and supporters. I don't know if they had this in mind, or if it was sort of a, what can we do with a limited set of resources, set of people under these pressuring conditions, but I'm happy that they chose to do this. It's a horror game, horror mystery. Holmes and Watson take on the Cthulhu mythos, and it's quite a journey. At this stage, they're led to this asylum, this mental institution, to investigate, and Holmes seemingly sends Watson in alone. So, just real quick stuff I noticed on the first playthrough. This Watson looks awesome. Because Chapter 1 was a soft relaunch, this game is sort of very, very early in their partnership. I'm kind of... I really wish that they done a first case together. Some sort of video game adaptation of Study in Scarlet. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. And it'll be nice to see how these two sort of play off each other, having known each other for a little bit, but this still being really early on. So this is a younger Watson, still fairly fresh from military service. He looks, I mean, similar enough to the older one, and similar enough to the revamped version in Devil's Daughter, but still his own unique thing. I need to double check if it's the same voice actor as Devil's Daughter, but he sounds alright, he looks great.
My daughter receives the finest treatment money can buy.
I cannot wait to see her.
So in the demo, you are given sort of a cheaty
Salutations,
measure.
madam. I am Dr. John Watson. I was wondering if you've got word of my visit.
Yeah, Dr. Watson. We received your letter on the matter. Would it be to see Professor Gygax?
You were able to press one of the buttons and it would highlight things that you could interact with. Master difficulty is of course slightly different. It's not going to hold your hand through that. So you have a little bit more dialogue options. I'm wondering how how branching they might be in the final version, but so if I wanted to still take a look around, I could click this, continue the conversation, move forward.
At their earliest convenience.
This one's
yes.
straightforward.
I shall try not to take up too much of their valuable time.
Wait here, bitte. Mr. and Mrs. Bronson, your girl has made remarkable progress. See? Take a look for yourself.
My apologies for keeping you waiting, Dr. Watson. Surely you understand how medical work can make one lose track of time.
Do not be sorry, Professor. I too know the importance of closely attending to patients.
The work hardly stops here, yet the satisfaction of perfecting the mind compels us to persevere.
I take it you welcome many a soul into your establishment?
Admissions, yes. Visitors, though? I am curious as to what brought you to the Schwarzes Edelweiss.
Word of mouth. An article I read back in London spoke highly of your institution. But rather than taking its word for it, I thought I would see things for myself.
My asylum's reputation precedes it, then.
Everyone, your attention, please. Guten Day. Yes, hi. Hello. The name's Amos Colby, Northwood Detective Agency, Boston. I got questions that need answers. Who's in charge here?
What seems to be the matter, Dr. Watson? You can tell me.
By Jove, it cannot be him.
So this is Sherlock in disguise, come to infiltrate the asylum. You could tell by the voice, if you couldn't tell by the rest of it. So you have the option to, you could sort of give away Holmes, or you could pretend to act for him.
Right. Yes. I was surprised because that man is a celebrity. Yes, that's it. Very famous, Mr. Colby. I couldn't believe my eyes.
No. In my line of work, it can't wait. The longer it takes
If
me
you
to
wish
get
to
the
recuperate,
truth, the
Dr.
more
Watson,
lives
you
are
may
placed
avail
in
yourself
harm's
of the
way.
guest room.
But I have so much more to discuss.
Nurse, if you'd be so kind as to escort Dr. Watson to the guest room. Herr Colby, from Northwood Agency. How unexpected. I am Professor Gygax. I would be happy to answer your questions in the examination room.
Look, Professor, unless you got any clues as to the whereabouts of...
There is no need to be alarmed. No one gets neglected in my care.
Now, let's not resort to brute force.
Do not worry, Herr Colby. My methods are rather more delicate. Such insanity. Then take him to the holding chamber. We need to decide precisely what to do with our guest.
The unmistakable scent of alcoholism. Did you walk through their doors as I did, or did they collect you off the streets?
So this is Holmes in disguise. He does have the same voice actor as Chapter 1. Holmes has had a couple different voice actors throughout his time in the series. He had a long-standing similar voice from the beginning until Testament, and then he sounded slightly different for Testament, and then different enough for Crimes and Punishments that was my favorite of Holmes's voices. And then when they did the slight revamp for Devil's Daughter, this guy came into play. So for Chapter 1 and this game, he is playing younger than he had in Devil's Daughter. Oh yeah. So I think this is a change in the lock-picking system if I remember right. You have to move them up and down. And put them back in and see if it lines up. It's kinda cool. Not too hard.
A truncheon, not the typical tool for a nurse.
So I remember getting super ridiculously lost in here in the old Awakened, and I don't know if it was the old graphics or if the place was actually as much as a maze as I thought it was, but yeah. So little details I liked. You can actually walk up in here, even though it doesn't do anything. You're not blocked off from this one either. Makes the place feel a little bit more lived in.
Darn. No way I can get past him without being noticed.
Not like Holmes is here to escape anyways.
There's the guest room. I wonder if Watson was able to speak to Gygax. Locked. I suppose the reception will be guarded anyway. I'd rather not sit in this chair ever again. This sedative worked faster than I expected. Perhaps I ought to train myself. Build up a tolerance.
Early days, Holmes. Another small detail I liked. The chairs don't move, but there's physics there, and that's nice. They're not just bolted to the floor. So we got signs here, mostly in German. You can actually click on them to translate. Not bad. We have closer inspection on a lot of things. I'm gonna forget what the heck I had to zoom in on.
Any chemist would envy the quality of this equipment. The final product, ready to cure madness, or to push one deeper into its grasp. Raw materials used to formulate medicine. With this equipment, they can create any type of medication.
So the first time through this, I didn't really read the controls, and I thought you just had to use the camera to move around, but you can actually use the left stick as you would move to move around as you're looking. And it helps you access more of the things. So here's some patient history of everybody that's getting fucked over in this little place.
Very sturdy. I might borrow it.
In context, he actually does need that. Out of context, Holmes, that's not very cool. So most everyone has a little name scribbled on their cell.
I command you to free me at once.
I'm not sure that's a great idea at the moment.
How dare you deny me? I must have my revenge against the lickspittles upstairs.
Fortunately for you, I'm here to stop the very same people.
You are?
Indeed. But first, I must discover all I can about this institution. Tell me, have you witnessed the arrival of any foreign patients?
Tell me? The gall, the impertinence to bark such orders.
Please, we don't have time for this.
Do you know with whom you speak? I am the great Napoleon.
Napoleon Bonaparte?
The one and only. Emperor of the French, first consul of the Republic, leader of La Grande Armée. Once I am free and have exacted my revenge against the guards who ridicule me, I shall rest happy in the arms of my beloved Josephine.
Right. Well, I will leave you to your scheming, Emperor.
So what I'm hoping for is that Sherlock is not a dick. I should call him Holmes. There's a tendency in modern media to make him this kind of mean and cold guy, and he's not like that. And what we're seeing with how he...
pierced by Cupid. I disdain all glittering gold. There is nothing can console me but my jolly sailor bold.
We're seeing with how he interacts with at least the patients in here, it seems like he won't be that cold or upset. Cool details. She's got drawings all over the wall. She's doing something on the floor there. Up one, up two, oops. Up one, up two, and up three. Hopefully. Yeah. No. Everything goes up one more, right? Yeah. I'm liking the environments. There's a lot of stuff in it, but nothing seems super out of place.
Looks like it's still operational.
Got a little dumbwaiter here. We don't get to use it in the demo, which is slightly disappointing. I love a good dumbwaiter.
This photo was damaged, seemingly by oil. I can make out the names listed here.
So you get a little progress bar at the top, and that tells you if you've investigated the whole area you're focusing in on. That's nothing new, it's just
Cooking
nice.
grease. Is this the kitchen dumbwaiter?
Yes, it is.
A painting in a mental institution. Vogel would be delighted.
So that's a nod to the Chapter 1 game.
John Sallow, the tulpa phenomenon. I'm somewhat of an expert already.
We also get that as a little nod. I'm hoping there's a few of
R.G.
those.
Hill, Dr. Connolly. It appears that all the psychiatric classics were banished here.
It would just be nice to have a lot of connection between the games. There wasn't much in the older ones. The really old ones you could see connections to. They would make little references. And then Devil's Daughter was sort of a sequel to Testament, but there wasn't that much connection. So Gerda was real fucked over by these people. The director, I guess, came to check on it. So we have to find out who Gerda is. Seems like a lead, right?
tubes of varying diameters. Interesting.
Tubes. So let me see. So that says to press LB to highlight interactive areas. Since we're playing a master, we're not going to have that ability. Little cheat. Why does he look ginger here? I don't have this on the highest settings because it wasn't a great performance when I did, but then I guess the lighting kind of suffers. I forget what I had to click over here.
A simple toolbox, yet capable of repairing anything.
Anything.
A certificate of appreciation from the municipal councillor to Professor Becker for contributions to the development of medicine in Interlaken.
Yeah. Alright. So, if you look at the menu, we have a list of basically clues. This is everything we've learned. The stuff with a map is about the specific rooms and locations. Blue is basically items. If they've got a face, it's about people. Performance is not his strong suit, poor Watson. The question marks is stuff that we have to figure out. Same with like these, what do you call them? Punctuation. Stuff you have to figure out. And these are documents, letters, that sort of thing. They're slightly different than the pickups, like that. And then you can sort evidence like this, which is kind of nice. The stuff you need to pin, which is similar to Chapter 1. I actually skipped something, that's what I'm doing wrong. You need to pin evidence so that you can investigate it specifically, otherwise certain clues won't show up. So in here there's a guy.
That? Is someone there?
Someone's there. So that when you reach certain problems, you get a question in the Mind Palace, which is fairly reworked from the previous games if you've played them. Hopefully I'll have the sense to put that on screen to compare. So we're done with questions here that don't always relate to solving who did it. In the other games it was very specific to solving the case. So the question we have is how to remove the guard. And there's 3 items we can use. They're all blue. Which I like, they're color-coded, so you can connect the dots, join them together to solve the problem. So we had to create a tube from the storage room. So what I didn't do in my first playthrough was annoy this guard.
I'm sure I heard something.
Apparently if you do this a few times, he catches you. Just for the sake
Who's
of
there?
it.
Show yourself.
Just for the sake of it, I want to be kind of annoying.
Hey, what are you doing?
Okay. Nothing crazy. Just a little bit of an animation. So we're just sent back to Block A. This was moving. Okay, you can mess with a couple things. That's nice too. I want the ability to pick things up like in Amnesia and just throw them around. So I'm going to, for the heck of it, pin the evidence. So if you see, I'm used to the middle one being the map for some reason. If you see here, there's a map. If you are not playing a master, there will be an orange icon on the areas that you haven't quite cleared of clues yet. That icon will turn green when you've cleared the area and solved everything there is to solve. This is a fairly recent re-edition that was a feature in the Hound of the Baskervilles game, which I really enjoyed. Being able to tell if I've cleared a room really helps out a lot. In the more recent games, there wasn't anything like that. You kind of had to stumble around until you found everything and hopefully had enough to draw the conclusion.
This should suffice.
Yeah. If they were going to make it really hard, they would give you your measuring tape and make you measure the lengths. Also in the older games, you had to put items together. You don't have to do that here, so it says this blowpipe is ready to use, even though you just picked everything up. Kinda crazy.
I'm sure I heard something. Who's there?
And then you don't... It enters the cutscene for you and gives you the chance to shoot. Which is kind of interesting too. There's not like an icon to use it, and then... I don't know, it's different. Holmes could pass as Tonga if he wanted. So Holmes can kind of climb. It's really hard to trigger it on this stuff. And some of the stuff is more obviously made for it.
This should be enough to avoid unwanted attention, at least from a distance.
It's not... Obviously it's not within the capabilities of the game. In later installments it would be nice if you were borrowing clothes from someone you had to hide the body somewhere, so we're gonna assume that he's in this locker, but it would be nice as if, like in Thief or Dishonored, you kind of had to drag the body to a location. Would make it a little bit more immersive for RPG elements. Still not bad. So in here you kind of get shadows. No one specific. We're gonna meet Gerda in a minute. So they have these areas caged off with the doctors, quote-unquote, blocking the way. There's no chance to even, like, mess with it to get caught.
Go away, or I will tear your lips from your skull with my fingernails!
There's Gerda.
Miss,
I'll gouge your eyes out and cut off your hands, just like you did to Heidi.
I am quite certain you would, but I'm afraid you have me mistaken for someone else. So, I take it your name is Gerda? Who is Heidi?
You talk strange. You're going to Hell's Door, aren't you? To where those other funny talkers finally shut up?
Hell's Door? To what do you refer?
Only Heidi had answers. Go away, pig!
I
said go, or you will spend your last moments on Earth screaming. This door won't stop me.
She's charming. I like the voice actor we got for her. So there's also nothing down here. It's a little bit limited in the spaces between areas. At least these don't move on their own. That would be kind of terrifying. So we're gonna enter the restricted area. So in here there's a couple clues. This is the laundry room.
Fabric burnt in the furnace.
This is how they clean things here.
A jalabia, a traditional garment from northern Africa.
Jalabia. So someone from Africa was in here.
The garments of several dozen people at least.
Oops. Okay, this is where they actually wash their clothing. And here, this is Heidi. Hello, Heidi.
So you're Heidi. I didn't realize I was on Haunted Doll Watch.
She was pretty horrific in the original one, too.
Good lord, how unsettling. The damage seems intentional.
So, I'm gonna hold on to Heidi. I could give her to Gerda right now, but I'm gonna wait. Or I could try to give her to Gerda. I don't actually know if I can. So you can press RB to concentrate. Basically what this is for is using your imagination to go through things. It's a really good representation of Holmes's actions. He was able to imagine things as they happened in the books, which is really impressive. I think I need to pin some evidence here. So this also gives you little icons. This is like map reference. This means you have dialogue to do. There'll be like a gear if you need an item for it. Let me see. Here we have this. There's a little cross here.
An orthodox reliquary commonly found in Eastern Europe. Now,
Interesting how that happens. And we have this. So these are all people they were messing with for their own desires. What's kind of crazy is this person is weak-minded, this person is violent, language incomprehensible. So all these people were treated despite being normal. Or not normal, but
so this is how they kept the prisoners docile and harmless.
at least two of those prisoners just spoke a different language and they decided, hey, you are mentally unwell. It's kind of crazy. Really great place. So what's great is these little dots above. And if you have all three, it means you have found everything for that part. So I like this too, Holmes cycles through possibilities. Very nice.
This stretcher was disinfected frequently.
Alright. We have this stuff right here.
The stamp on this crate confirms it came from America. That's quite a distance to travel.
We're gonna go over here. We're gonna click this door.
The doors can be opened for deliveries.
Right. So now we have a new unlock.
These are the same crates we found in London. I should take a closer look.
Here we have crates, so this is what I mean about climbing. Doesn't go anywhere, but it's nice. As if you could actually climb one of these days. Here we have scratches. And then here we have a bottle.
A bottle this sturdy doesn't break by accident. Substantial blood loss. One poor soul found another way out.
And that's all three. We also have this crate right here.
The kidnappers even provided airflow. How generous.
I like this Holmes, he's a little bit sarcastic. I think he's always been a bit sarcastic
This
in
is the
these
same
games.
design as the one from London.
The bottle again.
I doubt that one could survive such a journey with this little water. Dirt and sweat. They were locked in here for days, judging by the smell. This trip was prolonged and perilous.
Alright, so with this we can cycle through different options for what happened in the area. If you found all the clues, you'll find it pretty easy. These people did not walk out of here. Not on their own wall, at least. So that's the option right there. Oh wait, I need to keep that up. Yeah. We can zoom over here. So these people did not come alive, so that does not work. This is what we want. And then here we have two options. They either climbed out or they were loaded in crates, and we know that they were put in these crates. So from here we can validate.
The carriages were back through these doors, and they began to unload their cargo in secret. Next, the crates were opened, freeing their passengers. Not everyone survived the journey. The dirty, exhausted, and dehydrated prisoners were then herded into cells. But all the cells are now empty, and I have not located a morgue. Time to find Hell's Door.
Alright. So this is what we need to pin now. We can look for Hell's Door. So that's welded shut, so that hasn't been opened anytime soon. We can come over here. There's definitely something going on over here.
Scratches. Something has been moved through here.
Round and done. Machine oil.
This seems to be a locking mechanism. The whole thing must be a door.
Alright. Controller does not like me today. I'm trying to make a nice professional little walkthrough, and no. Alright, so from here we can go talk to Gerda and Heidi about Hell's Door. So I like that imagination thing. I think, if I remember right from Chapter 1, you can get those wrong. So if you put them in the wrong order or something. What I liked about these games most recently, from Crimes and Punishments onwards, is that you can use your deductions and draw the wrong inference and mess up cases that way.
I will make them pay for what they did to Heidi.
I believe I have found your friend.
Heidi!
Friend.
Oh, poor girl. What did they do to you?
Shh. It's all right now. Everything will be all right.
Please, Gerda, now I have found Heidi, I need some help from you in return.
Shh, Heidi. We should thank the man, don't you think?
How did you end up in Block B?
The nurses say I'm prone to violent outbursts, but they're wrong. I just do what Heidi tells me.
Have you ever met Professor Becker?
I remember him. He was in charge here before that witch Gygax. But I haven't heard his voice for a long time. Too bad. He was
Becker
nice.
was the man who came to investigate and found that she was not treated well.
Professor Gygax seems to rule this facility with an iron fist. Do you know anything about her?
She's sick. She did nasty things to us. Separated me and Heidi just for fun. Before she got here, this place was all right.
Tell me all you know about those funny-talking people.
We'd hear their screams. The guards would take them down the corridor behind you and they'd disappear. And the screams would stop.
I found Hell's Door, the one that made the foreigners silent, remember? How do I open it? Gerda, please, I cannot get inside. You have to tell me how to open it.
How can you speak to me like nothing's wrong? Can't you hear Heidi crying? Look at her! Look! She's suffering. I can't even hear my thoughts over her screams. Poor Heidi. We will fix you. I promise. We will fix you.
I shall leave you two to get reacquainted.
Alright. So we need to fix Heidi. So Holmes takes her a little bit seriously. He's nice to her about it. I appreciate that. I keep going for the wrong button for the map. So here is what we need to pin. 2 buttons, thread, glue, and nails. I messed that up. Click first. Rusted nails and construction adhesive. So we got our nails and glue. Now I just need thread and 2 buttons. For that we just have to go back. Wondering how this is gonna route for speedrun people. I think it's pretty straightforward on the whole, but I'm gonna forget everything. Where were the... Let's use some buttons. Take them. Now we got some thread. Alright, so then you can see everything is ready. We can go talk to Heidi. She's a lovely person, I promise.
Will this help fix your friend?
Give it to me.
How is she feeling?
Everything will be all right, Heidi. Everything.
Gerda, I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
Dirty little mouth, Gerda. You've said enough already.
She won't speak no more. Now it's only Heidi. You helped me, and I didn't cut out your eyes. So we're even. Now go!
I like how Holmes is even uncertain about this. He's like, wait, I didn't expect this.
Heidi, there are things I need some clarity on.
Ask if you dare, but if I get bored, there will be consequences.
So this is probably the hardest part of the demo, which I'm assuming is going to show up more throughout the game. You have to find the right order to talk to Heidi. So first of all, we're going to talk about Hell's Door. If I get this wrong, I'm sorry.
I found Hell's Door, but it's locked. Is there a way to get in?
Hell's Door? Never heard of it.
Right, so then number 3, so you can see at the top what you got wrong and what you didn't. So we have Hell's Door right here.
That's not true. You, Gerda, told me that Hell's Door makes people silent forever.
And you believe that snotty little girl? I'll personally ensure that she never dares to speak again!
That's great. Then finally we have... Yeah.
Professor Gygax hurt you repeatedly, scarred your body and mind. You are not protecting Hell's Door. You are simply afraid of the consequences were I to enter.
I could tap your teeth out with a hammer until you choked out the blood in bits.
You could. But then you would live the rest of your life in fear of Professor Gygax. I can make that feeling go away.
How?
I can stop her. But the key, Heidi, the key to Hell's Door is critical to stopping Professor Gygax. And I think you know where it is.
Tell him!
But you said...
And now I say tell him!
The professor. She has a special key. Keeps it close and only brings it down when you people go through. Behind those closed doors, those people start to sing. They sing in so much pain.
Gygax. Of course. Thank you, Gerda. Heidi. I must leave.
Leave? You joke. Nobody leaves the Edelweiss. Now you will be with us forever!
I think that's a good way to end it. So I think what I'm most stoked about is the new sort of gameplay elements, like that dialogue conversation that they added, and then also how they kept the best parts of the older games, and they continue to sort of rework parts as they go along, like the Mind Palace entries. I think it'll be cool to have a little bit more of a linear narrative after Chapter 1. It's a little bit of a change of pace. And since the two before that game were episodic sort of in nature, this is, again, just a nice, refreshing change of pace to have a complete game. So yeah, it's kind of exciting to see this remade, and so well remade. Hopefully it lives up to everybody's memories of the old one, making a significant improvement that stands on its own. Can't wait for the game to come out in fall. I'll definitely be trying to post that when it does. But until then, thanks for watching.